She was married to the most powerful man in Egypt. He was a slave in her own house. One night, she locked every door in the palace and begged him to stay.
Please, Joseph.
What he did next would send him to prison for a crime he never committed. This is the story of Joseph and Zulaikha, a love so forbidden, it shook a kingdom. Stay till the end, because what happens after the prison, nobody expects. Before we begin, here's what's coming. A jealous plot. A ripped robe that becomes the only evidence in a trial. A prison cell that turns into a place of destiny. And a twist so powerful that even the woman who destroyed him ends up needing him to save her. Let's go back to where it all began. Long ago, in a small village, there lived a boy named Joseph. He was the favorite son of his father, Jacob, and he had a gift, dreams that felt more like visions of the future. But his brothers were jealous. So jealous that one day, they threw him into a deep, dark well and left him there to die. He was just a boy, alone,
Get me out of
afraid,
here! Help!
waiting for death
Help!
in the darkness. But death did not come. A group of travelers passed by, pulled him out of the well, and sold him, as a slave, to a wealthy Egyptian nobleman. This man was one of the most powerful officials in Egypt, and his wife's name was Zulaikha. From the very first day Joseph entered that palace, everything changed. He grew up in that house. He wasn't just a servant anymore. He was trusted, respected, and admired by everyone who saw him. And Zulaikha, she watched him grow from a boy into a young man of striking beauty and quiet strength. Slowly, without even realizing it, her heart began to change. She was married. She had wealth, comfort, everything a woman of that time could want. But none of it compared to the way she felt whenever Joseph walked into the room. She tried to fight it. She really did. But love, especially forbidden love, does not ask for permission. One day, when the palace was empty and every door was locked, Zulaikha called Joseph into her chamber. Her heart was racing. She had planned this moment for a long time. She confessed everything, her feelings, her longing, her desperation. She begged him to stay with her. But Joseph refused,
Joseph,
not out of fear,
do not
not out of
leave me.
weakness, but because of who he was, a man who valued his honor and his faith above everything, even above his own desires. As he turned to leave, Zulaikha grabbed the back of his robe, pulling at it in desperation. The fabric tore, and that torn piece of cloth would soon change both their lives forever. At that exact moment, the door opened. Her husband walked in. Zulaikha, panicking, terrified of what would happen if the truth came out, did something she would regret for the rest of her life. She pointed at Joseph and accused him of trying to force himself on her. The room went silent. It was his word against hers. A slave, against the wife of a powerful nobleman. Everyone expected Joseph to be punished immediately. But then, someone in the house, a witness, offered a simple, clever test. Look at the robe, they said. If it is torn from the front, Joseph attacked her. If it is torn from the back, she was the one chasing him. The robe was examined. It was torn from the back. The truth was undeniable. Joseph was innocent. But even after the truth came out, the shame of the scandal was too much for the family's reputation. To silence the gossip spreading through the city, Joseph was sent to prison, punished not because he was guilty, but simply to protect the image of a household that had failed him. Years passed in that prison cell. Joseph never became bitter. He helped other prisoners, interpreted their dreams, and stayed patient, even when the world had treated him so unfairly. And then, one day, everything changed again. The king of Egypt had a dream that terrified him, and no one in his kingdom could explain what it meant. Someone remembered the young man in prison who had a gift for understanding dreams. Joseph was brought before the king. He explained the dream with such wisdom and clarity that the king was stunned. Soon after, Joseph was released. Not just released, but given a position of great power in Egypt. The slave boy, the prisoner, the falsely accused man. He became one of the most powerful men in the entire kingdom. And Zulaikha? Years later, after everything she had lost, her wealth, her youth, her position, she found herself standing before Joseph again. Older now, humbled, regretful. This time, there was no palace of secrets, no locked doors, no lies. Just the truth, finally spoken between two people whose lives had been tangled together since the very beginning. What happened between them after that moment has been told and retold for centuries, in poems, songs, and stories passed down through generations. A tale of desire, betrayal, patience, and forgiveness that still moves people to this day. If this story touched you, let me know in the comments. I'd genuinely love to hear which part moved you the most. And if you enjoyed this episode of Echoes of Forbidden Love, please consider subscribing so you don't miss the next story. There are so many more forbidden love stories waiting to be told, and I can't wait to share them with you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.